Hey everyone! Welcome back to Nothing But Anime. We're diving into part 5 of our all-new series, What If Toji Fushiguro Became a Hashira series today. If you're enjoying the journey, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more exciting content. Now, let's get into it and see where this adventure takes us next. This was second time emergency Hashira meeting was called. This one was for the victory of Demon Slayer Corps at an upper moon after 100 years. The balance that was not changed for 100 years have tipped and it was in favor of Demon Slayer Corps. This was first time upper rank of upper moons have been killed by Demon Slayer Corps and without having any major injuries or death in battle. This meeting was called to discuss how Kibutsuji Musen will react in upcoming days after death of his third strongest demon. There was chance that for some time demon activities were going to stop. Currently Toji was at Corps headquarters and was waiting for others. Only person that were here other than him were Shinobu and Kaijuro. That was because Toji and Rengoku came with her from Butterfly Mansion to headquarters. Next person that came there was Tengen, who congratulated Toji and Rengoku for their victory, and said, "Well, I am happy that both of you are not heavily injured even after a battle with Upper Moon, and don't worry. Kaijuro, I will be the one who will take down next Upper Moon." This made Toji curious since he was trying to find whereabouts of upper rank demon but was not having any success. So, he asked how. Tengen didn't understood the question that Toji asked and said, "What how?" Toji said, "How did you found a whereabouts of upper rank and which place?" Tengen nodded in understanding and said, "In Entertainment District, it a great place where people disappearing would not be noticed and I think would be a great place for Upper Moon to hide. So, send my wives to investigate there as spies. There high chance that there is upper rank demon." Toji didn't thought of going to that place to keep his mind at place, so that area was he didn't search for Upper Moon and Toji was more interested in searching for Upper Moon 1 or 2 to test his strength to see how well he could do against Musen, but battle with Akaza showed that Upper Moon 2 or 1 will not be that much different in level of strength. Toji still kept his mind open to the possibility of them being much more stronger than he was thinking. Though sending his wives at that place made Shinobu angry at Tengen, and she said, "You sent your wives at a place where an upper rank demon might be hunting? What were you thinking?" Tengen said that she didn't have to worry. His wives were skilled in hiding and fighting. They would be fine, but Shinobu said that Hashira had lost against Upper Moon and he still sent them there. They could be discovered and killed. Tengen tried to said that Toji and Rengoku were fine after fighting Upper Moon 3. Shinobu hit him and said that they were lucky and stayed defensive till dawn and kept defending each other. This went on for a little while, but Shinobu could pursue Tengen and he was happy with win, but it came with a warning. If something happened to she will kill him with worse poison. She was pretty good friends with his wives. Slowly all other Hashiras also came, though Sanemi and Abanai did congratulated him, but there were still some snarky comments. Gyomii was happy that they were able to protect all passengers and killed an Upper Moon with minor injuries. They all did asked how strong was Upper Moon and how did they won. Lady Hanaki said Master of Mansion has arrived and they all went to their usual places. Master was happy and said, "I am very happy to see that all my children are safe and sound. You all might already know about what this meeting is about, but I myself want to tell you all that after 100 years the balance had tipped in favor of Demon Slayer Corps and Upper Moon has been killed. Kaijuro and Ju were not only were able to kill Upper Moon, but this is first time that one of upper 3 rank demon has been killed without receiving any major injuries or death of Hashira. Kaijuro and Ju, I want to congratulate you both." Then Master bowed his head, which shocked all Hashira, and he said, "I am very grateful from entire Ubuyashiki family and Demon Slayer Corps for giving the hope that Upper Moon and Kibutsuji are not invincible, and by receiving only minor injuries you both give me hope that we can kill Kibutsuji in our generation." Toji said while looking at Master, "Master, please don't put us in difficult situation by bowing your head to us. If it were not for your clan, we never might gotten even a chance to fight against them." Then he bowed his head and said, "Please raise your head." Kaijuro also bowed his head and said, "We agree with him, and you are the one who brought us here and gave us a chance to be able to us our lives for something good purpose. Please don't bow your head to us. This is disrespectful for a person like you do that." They all agreed with them and Master raised his head. Then Master said, "Still I am really grateful to you too and I hope that you all be able to win against Upper Moons like that and weaken Kibutsuji more. I think we should start this meeting now. Can you both tell about Upper Moon abilities?" They both said yes Master in unison and Kaijuro started explaining. The Upper Moon name was Akaza and he was very skilled in martial arts. His blood demon art made those skills even more deadly since he was able to punch air and it will come at us like cannonballs. We knew that sunrise was near so we decided to stay on defensive and go offensive. Sun was going to rise to catch the Upper Moon in a difficult position. Toji then began. We simply made him think that we were being cornered by him by only staying at defensive. My duty was to defend Kaijuro and his was to counterattack demon so he will not have time to attack me. The went on for pretty much 2 hours and near sunrise we decided to make a final attack. We were able to cut his head and Kaijuro took from there, but he was able to overcome this weakness after his head was cut. He was able to regrow his head. Sanemi asked, You two killed him with sunlight?" Toji said, "No, Akaza killed himself." They all were shocked after hearing then and Sanemi asked what did he meant by that. Master said with a smile, that quite a problem since long battle with Upper Moons are bad for Hashiras, and if he could do this then there is possibility that Musen and Upper Moon 1 and 2 can also grow their heads back. Toji said, "Yes Master, but it depends on their desire to keep on fighting since Akaza was win that battle that he was able to overcome his weakness of head being cut off and this is also possibility for others Upper Moon too." Sanemi said, "You still didn't answer my question. Why would he kill himself if he wanted to keep fighting? Kaijiro looked at him while little sad expression. It's because he was able to regain his memories during the time he was growing his head back. Ju thinks that Muzan Kibutsuji erased Akaza memories so he can use him as his puppet. When Akaza was dying he was happy to get his memories back and was grateful towards us because we stopped him from doing more destruction and staining his master fighting style which was meant to protect. Toji said. It makes me sick thinking that how many people were robbed of their memories just to be his mindless puppets. There was hint of disgust in his eyes. Sanemi said, what else can we expect from that fucking thing? I wish I could give him worse death. Master said, yes, it real sad that how many people have to suffer like that while not knowing what was done to them. Though I hope that we will end she existence and protect future generation to suffer from. They all said yes master in unison. Then Abuyashiki said, this first time Kibutsuji's upper rank demon has died so. I think that Kibutsuji will not be happy but he will stop his demon's activities for a month or more in fear of not losing more forces. I think you all can take few day off if that happens and celebrate this victory and prepare for Kibutsuji upcoming sexeme since he will not sit quiet for much time. Yes master, was the answer they gave him and Abuyashiki Kagaya ended the meeting with that. Toji was going back to his estate when Tengen stopped him and said, Now Tomioka, you and Kaijiro have done something that didn't happen in 100 years. I am not letting you go like this. We are going to celebrate and you can't refuse this time since you big part of it. Toji looked at and said, I have to train my Tsuguko. I have gut feeling they were looked quite sad for not being able to help me and Kaijiro. I don't want them to be demotivated and I have already called them at my estate. Tengen didn't like the answer now he couldn't do anything since he brought his Tsuguko and them being demotivated for not being useful there and Tengen knew that Core Slayer's quality was dropping and having demotivated Tsuguko for a long time put them in position of Kaijiro father. So he said, I guess that can't be helped but you can at least take part in arm wrestling competition that we are having. Toji knew that if Tengen went back then Kocho will annoy him about this. So he said, okay but keep it fast. I have not much time since they will be waiting. Tengen took him to other Hashiras and said, okay all since we are having arm wrestling competition. Tomioka is also going to taking part and it took me great effort to bring him so let's get started. Arm wrestling competition was started and as expected Kocho was not able to win since strength was not her forte. Abanai came second last and then was Michiro. Kenroji was able to put good fight but lost to Kaijiro. Toji and Sanemi were next but because of heavenly restrictions Toji's strength was already abnormal. Sanemi put his all strength but was not able to defeat Toji. His hand stayed at the place from they started and didn't move to inch. This was shocking since they expected a big struggle during that but Toji hand didn't even move. Sanemi was in very bitter mood after that and was standing angrily with Abanai. Rengoku was against Tengen next and struggle went for a while but Tengen won. Jiyomi was last person that winner in between all of them was going to complete with. Tengen said to Toji, I am not going to lose like Sanemi. Let's see how good fight you are going to put Tomioka. Toji simply put his hand on table. The result was not much different than what they was in Sanemi case and Toji was able to win easily. Tengen said, you don't look like that strong but moving your hand moving a boulder. I don't understand why? Toji looked at him. He knew the reason since he was born with heavenly restrictions and those followed him in Jubati too but he couldn't tell them that. So he stayed quiet. No only person left was Jiyomi and if he won against him they sure will ask too many questions. So he decided to lose against Jiyomi. He simply struggled a little but then lost on purpose. Toji was really impressed by Jiyomi's strength. He could say that Jiyomi was very definition of human strength peak. His body was so strong that if Toji been normal human he hand would have been broken even after being a Hashira. Well that was expected since there is no one more powerful than Jiyomi but you really were unexpected with that level of strength and never you will so strong. It was really flamboyant. Tengen said to him while putting his hand around his neck. Toji decided to say what was true in his case people have only used their full strength near-death situation. I simply train in near-death situation to make my mind think that I am always in those types of situations. I am able to use 100% of my potential at will. He simply left saying that and Shinobu sighed, well people do unleash their 100% potential in near-death situation but using that for training methods can kill a person. He might die if kept training like that. Sanemi said, well demon slayers don't live that long too. If he want a strong like at cost of his death then he can, I don't give a shit about and he left too. Hearing what Kocho said made other little worried about Toji since he was one of a Hashira who killed Upper Moon and losing him could be great loss for demon slayer crops. Even Sanemi was interested in training this method of training a little since he was able to win that worst day of his life because his mind let him use his all strength. If it could make him strong then he will use it since he was already used to cutting himself to weaken demons with his Merchi blood. So he tried to give this a chance and other had this thought in their mind too but removed it. Jiyomi's own training could be said to give near-death experience to other Hashira and he was able to do it because of his gift physic. They all went their estate after they went to party for Kaijiro and Toji win on Upper Moon but Toji never went there. After all he also was little loner after coming this world may be because he was in Tomioka body. Infinity Castle. Currently all Upper Moon were summoned at Infinity Castle by Muzan and last time they were summoned here was 113 years ago. This summon could only mean that a Upper Moon was fallen. Doma was sitting in his seat few seconds earlier and now he was here at Infinity Castle. He was little curious to know which Upper Moon died. And said, I wonder who dead. I hope it's not Kokushibo or Akaza. It would really hurt me since we were just starting to get along. Hantengu was shivering and stayed hiding behind railings. Gyako was laughing a little and said, "Hyo hyo hyo, it's been like more than 90 years since we were last summoned here. It's been so long since we last meet Lord Doma. I hope you like my creation that I gifted you, hyo hyo hyo." Hantengu said, "How horrible! How horrible!" During the time we didn't meet, Gyako became uncountable in number. It'd been 113 years since last summon. An indivisible number, a strange ominous number, an odd number, his W horrible. How horrible! Doma said, "It's been a long time, Gyako. Is that a new vase? Very pretty. I put freshly cut heads of women in vase that you gave me and used it decorate my room." Gyako said, "That was not for heads for that, all right too." Doma asked him to come visit him sometime. Then he looked at Biwa woman and said, "It seems that Kokoshibo and Akazadano are not here. Daki and Jayataro are also absent." Neikime said, "Upper Moon 1 was first one to arrive and about Upper Moon 6 they're here. Neikime played here, Biwa and Daki came to Infinity Castle. She said, 'We're summoned here, big brother. Does that mean a Upper Moon died?' Jayataro came out of her body and said, 'Yes, this means a Upper Moon have fallen. I hope it that, Gyako,' Daki said. Doma looked in direction Neikime said Upper Moon 1 was. Kokoshibo was sitting inside a room and said, 'I am right here. Lord Muzan have arrived.' Muzan was standing upside down looking at them. He said, 'Akaza is died and upper ranks of Kazuki are empty.' Doma said with a playful smile on his face. 'It's so sad. He was starting to get along with me. It pains my heart to hear it.' Muzan ignored him and meanwhile Kokoshibo said in anger, 'Akaza, how could you die? Weren't you going to surpass me? Master Muzan, can I know who was the one who killed him?' The one killed him were the flame and water Hashira. Sunrise was near, so they decided to being defensive it then and when offensive when Akaza was distracted by sun and behead him, but I am not displeased with him since he was able to show me something useful in his death. Unlike you all, Akaza was able to grow his head back and overcome his weakness. If sun was not risen he would have, but he gave me a gift before dying. Kokoshibo, you are only person who have same will to keep fighting like his. I believe you can do the same, and also those two Hashiras survived without much injuries. They are skilled. Either make them demon to fulfill Akaza Plaka or kill them before they become a throne in my side." Kokoshibo said, "Yes, Lord Muzan, I will begin their search right away." Muzan then looked at other and said in anger, his veins were almost piping out, "Remember one thing, I hate change. Akaza death was somewhat useful to me, but you all have showed no progress in whether finding Ubuyashiki family or Blue Spider Lily. If you don't want me start replacing you, then next time only come here with good news, not for another summon." "Understood," Doma said with a smile while looking at Muzan. "I am not good at detective work. What can I do with it?" Muzan said, "Yes, you are no good after all. Neither could bring something useful like Akaza, nor could you properly kill that female Hashira years ago. If it were instead of Akaza, then you might not have lasted against those because you don't give your full in fights and they would notice and take an advantage of it." Muzan said that to fuel the fire of displeasure brewing inside of Doma for not being able to eat Shinobu elder sister Kene. This made him angry and he said, "Don't you worry, this time we'll kill and eat the Hashira even before sunrise." Muzan left and Neikime teleported them all back to their original places. Soon something big was going to happen and Tanjiro will be an important cog during that time for Demon Slayer Corps. Toji knew this and was going to create as much firepower he can for Demon Slayer Corps. Tanjiro was coming back to Butterfly Mansion after being exhausted from his recent mission. He was here to pick Onimint and check for injuries. He has been training under the supervision of Flame Hashira with his two friends Zenitsu and Inosuke. They both were currently on joint mission. Tomioka-san had said to Rengoku to keep sending them to missions for building up experience and then make them fight to see who was lacking in which area. Tanjiro was doing good for now and had been stronger than other two in fights, but Inosuke is not that far and Zenitsu only really less time to use his technique. His focus has increased because of the training and supervision from Sounds Hashira Tengen-san. Though Zenitsu said bad things about him after knowing that he have 3 wives but got punched in guts. Tomioka-san and Stone Hashira are paired for a long time and haven't been changed. Rengoku or Tengen-san don't know the reason, but he asked Tomioka-san. He said that they were after a demon who had a cult and called Muzan a god. This was something he didn't want to continue because Muzan shouldn't be a god, and that cult could also be used by Muzan to create more demon by saying it as scared ritual. He told us to not tell any of this to Shinobu. We understand that after Rengoku-san and Tengen-san looked worried hearing about it. Shinobu said to him that her elder sister was killed by a demon. Tanjiro came to know that she was Hashira, and only demon that could kill a Hashira are upper moons. That mean they are after a upper moon, maybe one who is stronger that Akaza, since strongest Hashira was also on this mission with him. Tengen-san looked little more worried these days too for some reason. Tanjiro have came to see that Tengen was good at heart, was more like Kaijuro in some cases, but he was too much into art nowadays after Rengoku-san told him about what he looked like in Tomioka-san dream. He was impressed that Tomioka-san saw him as artist, but him having explosives in schools and children was not something he liked since it was dangerous but flashy. Rengoku-san and Tengen-san were now used to fighting against each other whenever they both trained them on usual basis. Tomioka-san also came sometimes to check on their training but looked tired, maybe because he was looking for base of the demon. The demon was never at one place and always changing, but it was also hard to find occult spaces too. Tomioka-san looked sleep-deprived but said that he will take full sleep and went to his estate for rest before Tanjiro left for this mission. Tomioka looked like he wanted to put this demon down even more than anything. Tanjiro was walking towards Butterfly Mansion when he heard some shouting voices. He rushed towards the gate and saw Tengen standing while other girls swarming him. Tanjiro said, Tengen-san, what are you doing to the girl? Let them go. Tanjiro took a good look on them. It was like girls were swarming him. Tanjiro was looking confused when girls said to him, "Kidnapper! Help us!" Tanjiro rushed towards Yuzui and tried head but him saying, "Sorry Tengen-san, but can't let kidnap Nahi and Aoi." Tengen jumped up on the gate and other two girls followed but Tanjiro catch them in midair. Tengen said to Tanjiro, "I am former ninja boy. I am well versed in that world. Don't you try to head but me politely." Tanjiro said, "Let go of Aoi and Naho Tengen, otherwise I will complain to Shinobu-san about you kidnapping then like a creepy man." Tengen was in really mood because of his wives going missing entertainment district and he was not in mood of dealing with it, especially with Kocho who warned him about it. He shouted at them, "Who are you calling creepy? I'm only taking them because I need female core member on mission. She is not Tsuguko, so I don't need Kocho permission." Kyo said to Tengen while crying, "Naho is not even core member. She not wearing uniform." Tengen looked at little girl and then throwed her at them saying, "Then I don't need her." Tanjiro shouted at Tengen loudly, "What are you doing? You brute!" while catching Naho in his arms. She said crying, "Why he dropped me." Tengen said to him, "I am taking her. She don't look much useful but she is still core member." Tanjiro said, "Different people have different abilities. You can't use them like you want. That's not a good thing Tengen-san. Let Aoi go." Tengen knew that Tanjiro had potential but his mindset was something holding him back. So he said, "Tanjiro, you may have potential but your mindset stands in its way. Because brats like core is getting weaker because new members like you who just rattle on." Tanjiro shouted, "Then take me instead of her." Zenitsu and Inosuke also came back from their mission and jumped at sidewalls of Mansion Gate. Inosuke said, "I just got back but I am not tired, I will go as well," while pointing at himself with his thumb. Zenitsu said in anger, "Let go of Aoi, you muscle-bound monster. I will not let you keep hogging girls like that. You already have 3 wives and yet you are taking you other. I will not stand aside and watch you doing that, you creep, musclehead." Zenitsu was more of jealous of Tengen and seeing taking Aoi only put fuel in fire, but for his last comment Tengen gave him a punch at head. He said to them, "Whatever, you guys can come with me but we have to take permission from Kaijuro. Let go there." He put down Aoi and took them to Rengoku estate with him. Rengoku was with his little brother in courtyard of his house when Tengen came with Tanjiro, Inosuke and Zenitsu. Rengoku asked Sanjuro to bring food and tea for them and he went to greet Tengen. Tengen explained to him about wanting to take those 3 to entertainment district. Kaijuro thought for a moment and said to him, "Tengen, I can let them go with, but I will go with you as well since Zenitsu and Inosuke are originally Tomioka's Tsuguko and I can't put them in danger since they can be discovered by Upper Moon and don't know if the same could also happen to this Upper Moon what happened to Upper Moon 3. So you will need my help in battle." Tengen tried to say that he will order them to retreat before battle starts but Kaijuro said, "They will not stand aside just like that because they felt useless for not being able to help us in the fight against Upper Moon 3 and are trying their best to get strong. You have seen this yourself." Tengen have seen them train restlessly even under Tomioka's. So there was not much of excuse he could make. Even Master have partnered them because of his mission having a chance of Upper Moon. Kaijuro had experience in fight against Upper Moon, so this could be helpful to find his wives. He tried to argue a little but agreed to his wishes in the end. Sanjuro was sitting with other 3 outside while taking to them. Tengen came outside with Kaijuro and said to 3 of them, "You 3 can come, Kaijuro will also be coming with us. Let's go. You brats." They started to walk behind him just outside of Kaijuro house waiting for him to arrive after getting ready when Tanjiro asked Yuzui, "So, Tengen-san, where are we going?" Yuzui looked at them and said, "The flashiest place in Japan, steeped with lust and avarice. We are going to entertainment district where demons dwell." Rengoku also came outside fully ready for mission. Tengen said to them, "Now that Kaijuro is here, let's go. Along the way Hanamachi there is a Westria house. We make our preparations there. Now follow us," and left in speed. Kaijuro followed him saying to them, "Don't fall behind. Let's go." They already have seen Kaijuro and Tengen fights so they knew that he was fast but currently he left them behind in dust. Both Rengoku and Yuzui looked sesame seeds from far behind. They all started to run behind them to catch up to them. They were doing barely keeping up because of being so far behind and other 2 were not slowing down. At Westria house, soon they reached the Westria house near Hanamachi and Tengen was being super bossy for things they need for mission and Kaijuro thanked them for their service. They went in and sat down in hall while waiting for Tengen order to be completed. Tengen decided to fill them in for details and said, "Once we reach entertainment district, we'll gather information on the demon while you keep open eye for women that I can marry." Once Tengen finished the sentence Zenitsu shouted at him, "That's absurd." Tengen looked at him while he continued, "Stop messing around. You already have 3 wives and still want more. Demon Slayer Core is not matchmaking service. I still don't get why they married a weirdo like you but your lust is still unsatisfied. You bastard." Tengen punched him in guts and said, "You got problem with me chump." Kaijuro smiled and explained to them, Tengen wives went there to gather information on demon in disguise but he didn't get any response from them. We going there because of that and are going to stuck in as disguise since their letter said that we should stand out there. Tengen said, "I thought entertainment district is a good place for a demon to hide so I went as a customer but didn't find any leads. So, sent my wives who are outstanding kunoichi female ninjas to go there to gather information but not as customers. We've narrowed down to 3 main establishments. You 3 go there and look for them. Suma at House Takedo, Makio at House Ajimoto, and Hinetsuru at House Kayagaku. They were just listening to details while Zenitsu was out cold at floor when Inosuke said that what if his wives were dead, and got a punch like Zenitsu from Tengen and dropped unconscious at floor joining Zenitsu. The owner of Westria House opened the door and said, "We've brought what you asked for." His wife was with him. Kaijiro calmed down Tengen and said, "Don't worry, Tengen. We will find them safe and sound." Tengen thanked the owner and his wife. At Hanamachi Entertainment District, Yoshiwara, a town of night, awash in vanity, desire, love and hate. The Hanamachi Entertainment District, as its name suggests, is the specialized section of town. Most of courtesans here were sold into service due to poverty and debt, so they bear many hardships. They have now food, clothes and shelter, and if they succeeded as courtesans, a wealthy man may yet but their freedom. The Orien is highest rank among courtesans, is special woman one who have everything. Beauty, education and artistry. An Orin ranks highest in status, so it can be difficult meet one. Men complete with each other in order to gain the attention of Orien. Currently Tengen and Kaijiro were wearing a kimono, and were standing in front of the owner and his wife. They both looked really handsome that they could charm any woman at sight. Tengen was the one who changed Kaijiro's hairstyles. His hair were just falling down since after an hour changes. Nothing suited Kaijiro other than his own hairstyle. The wife house owner said, "Whoa, those are some ugly girls." Her husband said, "Sorry, but we just got new help, so we can't." But his wife cut him mid-sentence and said, "We will take one." She was charmed by Tengen looks. Kaijiro said to her husband, "Don't worry about their looks. They are really hardworking girls. You can make them do heavy work too." 3 of them were in female yukatas and wearing plaster makeup on face. Their hair were tied with ribbons. It seemed like that Tengen didn't try even to make them look good, but that was okay since he needed them to be ugly because they needed to do housework to find his wives, and those who have no looks are given these tasks. So it was justified, and Kaijiro saying that they were hardworking put their focus on putting them there. Tengen named Tanjiro as Sumiko, Inosuke as Inoko and Zenitsu as Zeniko. The house owner brought Tanjiro on request of his wife. Then Tengen and Kaijiro left with other 2. Tengen was saying to both them that they were truly hopeless and he will sell them dirt cheap price. Inosuke was not paying attention. Meanwhile Zenitsu was staring to Yuzui with bitter eyes. Kaijiro was looking for way to House Kayagaku. Zenitsu said to Yuzui, "I am not talking to you." Tengen responded, "Because I dressed you like a girl. You said you will do anything I told you." Zenitsu thought, "We're idiot. It not because you dressed me like a girl. It because of your face. You are too handsome." Inosuke's eyes caught something and he asked Yuzui, "Hey, what over there, what that?" Pointing at Orien Dochu. Tengen explained to him, "Oh, it's Orien Dochu. A courtesan's procession. That Koinatsu. Orien of House Takedo." "I see. You know about many things," Tengen Kaijiro said to him, who just came back after asking for directions. "I visited this place for mission, so I know about pretty much." People were talking that a high-ranking courtesan was going to greet a suitor and how much did it cost him. Zenitsu lashed out after listening to him and said, "Huh? That your wife? That goddess is your wife? Are all 3 that beautiful? That not fair. You never showed their picture to me." Yuzui was annoyed that Zenitsu was not even remembering who his wife was and said to him, "That not my wife? I even wrote down their names for you, fool." Trying to punch him, but Kaijiro was holding him back. The wife of House Ajimoto was walking when her eyes caught the sight of Inosuke, who was not even paying attention. She then looked at Tengen and Kaijiro while saying, "Pardon me, kind sir, if you are looking to place that child then, I will take her in. I am Madame of House Ajimoto and I have eye for talent." Tengen was happy that the house head woman was asking for him to sell Inosuke to her. It reduced their work, so he sold him in dirt cheap price. They said them that Inosuke was mute from birth, that why he was so cheap, and all that left was Zenitsu, who was thinking that what will happen to him. They started walking towards the House Kayagaku and asked to meet House Lady. The house was also blushing at the sight of Yuzui and Kaijiro. Kaijiro didn't spoke during time when Yuzui made deals with house ladies, since he didn't much about these things. Yuzui simply gave Zenitsu for free to the House Lady of House Kayagaku. He said that they can have her and make her do hard work, liek cleaning toilets and other things, and gave him for free. Kaijiro tried to say that Zenitsu had talent for things, but that didn't calm Zenitsu's anger at Yuzui for throwing him away like some trash. After that both of them left to keep in one each house to see if there was something odd. They were also gathering information, but because of Kaijiro's bluntness, Tengen kept Kaijiro with him, and both them were gathering information together now. All 3 of them were at house where Yuzui wives were. House Lady of Takedo House was angry at Yuzui and Kaijiro because of Tanjiro's scar at head. Inosuke makeup was removed and his beautiful face was revealed, and House Ajimoto had a big catch in their hands. House Lady wanted him to be bigger Orien than Warabiheim of House Kayagaku and Koinatsu of House Takedo. Zenitsu had great talent for instruments, but he was playing them in his anger at Yuzui. He was saying that will show Tengen his worth by becoming biggest Orien at Yoshiwara, which can't happen. House Lady said that Zenitsu wanted to get back at Yuzui, and girls like that go really high. That's a wrap on the 5 part. Everyone, if you missed the previous parts, be sure to check out the playlist. And don't forget to support the author for their amazing work. I'll be back soon. Thank you all for your support.